Chapter 13, For That Someone Special. With some help from Kaiba, Yugi manages to fight off Joey's massive army, but Joey remains under Scott's control. Joey leads what remains of his army into the Uravi Canyon and prepares for a final battle. The strain of having to face his friend again is almost too much for Yugi to bear when Mai asks to speak to him. Yugi, let me handle Joey, please. Mai. I'm gonna slap him so hard it'll break whatever mind control he's under. Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit and in the green. Welcome back to YuGiOh the Falsebound Kingdom. And it is time to battle Joey and retrieve him from Scott's control. Mai is the one we have to bring in, and Joey, I don't like your odds. Wow. Yeah, I don't like your odds, buddy. You are... Probably better actually make sure half his pet dragon gets something. We'll give it a... I really don't see us needing a monster reborn, but just in case. There's something else I should do with Taya's team. What I should do is utilize the power of nature. Because that basically functions like Violet Crystal for spirit monsters. We'll replace that. And teams are looking alright. Fizda's team has come along pretty well. Her stats are admittedly terrible. She's a bit of a joke character. Mako has proven particularly useful along the way. Shimon's doing alright. Taya's team is doing alright. Tristan continues to be solid. And then we're going to get Joey's team back in action. But Joey's probably going to be a little bit underleveled. His monsters will hit hard. But there's not a huge amount he can do straight off the bat. Nonetheless, we did at least get a new monster. Whoops, probably should show off the new monsters we got. I don't think they come in at very high level, because we can actually use a new fusion that I will introduce in the mission proper. So, Red Eyes comes in at level 1. So does Dark Elf, which is a bit of a nuisance. Time Wizard at least came in at level 10. Now, Yugi's team is doing remarkably well. Admittedly, all the power-up items we've got have something to do with it. But there we are. I'm surprised that Fizda's stats haven't improved. She really doesn't get much. She is a bit of a joke character. We've still got to do something about Bakura, but it's Bakura. So, once we save Joey, we'll have most of the team back, and then we can find out what on earth is happening with Bakura. Shimon's compatibility orb seems really close to Robotic Knights, which is a sort of really deep maroon colour. I hope I get some shock shells soon. But anyway, we can prepare for the next one. As always, I'll look things up, I'll save, and then we'll get going. I think there's only one monster to get. Alright, so before we do actually jump into the mission, there's something I remembered I need to do. Let's go to our Assemble Team menu. I'm going to put this one on Joey's team, take Guiltier off the team for the time being. We can remove those, and let's replace the non-existent Joey. We get the Red Eyes Black Dragon, but now we get certain items. I've mentioned this several times, we can use Metal Morph. Red Eyes Black Metal Dragon. Look at that, would you? 4 action points right off the bat. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. So, because it takes us a bit of work to get, Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon actually gets to be useful at long last. So that'll stick on Joey's team for the time being. Probably... yes, it's a machine. Can't use polymerization, so... I did introduce Black Skull Dragon, but we're kind of out for that one. Shadow Mega Flare, nice attack name. Anyway, let's proceed with the rest of the battle, and... oh, and don't worry. I really... well, I don't exactly hate Bakura. I would not say I'm his biggest fan, but I certainly don't hate him. I'm just sort of razzing on him a little bit in the spirit of fun. Besides, he is a very important character, and it's worth noting that Bakura really did have a pretty crap run of things. His mother and sister died in a car accident, his dad was obsessed with getting the Millennium Ring, the spirit of the Millennium Ring took him over and would kill any friends he made or at least harm them, which constantly caused him to have to move schools. You know, he's really lucky he found Yugi in the group because he's actually got someone who's there for him when it matters, and the fact he hung on that long, pretty damn impressive, Bakura. You're alright, but I'm gonna be razzing you anyway because... just because anyway. Let's get going. You cannot defeat me. So we have to defeat Joey with Mai. What do we got coming in hot? Ground units. So this is a fairly easy one, admittedly, if you've been training up Mai. I probably didn't need to bring so many people in. Seriously, who do we want to battle in this one? Probably Taya and Fizdus. I don't know if any reinforcements are going to turn up. But we've only got one monster we can find in this one. And that is... Panther Warrior. Alright. They've got Bazon. So that one enemy is probably just going to stay there. And Axe Raider is just wandering along, happy as can be. Now. Alright, 2 Darklands monsters. Taya, you are going after this team. Wait. Alright, Taya, you are facing this team. Fizdus, divert into the mountains. And then take down that last enemy. Alright, no healers, not a huge amount of action points, but there is an armored lizard. Fizdus, head on out. And Ansatsu closes in, but right into the guns. This one's going to be a fairly easy one, so we shouldn't have too much to present. After there's a bit of wandering around, I will show off the profile for Panther Warrior. Should be able to get through this mission pretty easily if you've been training your teams, but you do have to do this as Mai. There are probably workarounds, but in all fairness, Mai can be incredibly broken, as I've mentioned several times. Now, they're not going to be much chop. Ansatsu has guarded. Do they actually have any items? No. Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon made its international debut as a promo with the video game Forbidden Memories, with sporadic reappearances since, for whatever reason. In Japan, it debuted under the same circumstances. Let's be honest, this is not a practical monster in the card game. In the manga, where it came with the resistance to spells, it was actually useful, but otherwise, no, it's absolutely terrible. Red Eye's Black Dragon equipped with Metal Morph will generally do a fair bit better when attacking. Actually, it will always do a fair bit better when attacking. And this is also totally useless in your hand unless you want to use it for a ritual summon or something, I don't know. However, when it comes to this game, as we saw a little while ago, Red Eye's Black Metal Dragon will actually prove its worth, faring much better than its organic counterpart. Just don't try and use it in the card game. Seriously, just don't. Panther Warrior made its international debut with 2005's Collector Tins, but its most notable appearance was in Legendary Collection Joey's World. In Japan, it debuted as a promo with the Dark Duel Stories game guide, appearing a bit more often otherwise. Where Panther Warrior goes in the anime, Scapegoat usually follows, so it's sort of like Mary, except if Mary was a gigantic cat person with a really, really big sword. This admittedly tends to be the easiest way for Joey to fuel its attacks, at least as far as I remember. I could be wrong on that point. Like Dark Elf a couple of episodes earlier, it's powerful, but fairly impractical when it comes to the card game. Freed from its TC limitations here though, Panther Warrior is devastating. It generally gets plenty of action points and amazing attack power. It is an absolute pain in the backside to face, but it is a truly excellent ally. Time to square up for another match! This will be the last regular enemy, and then Mai can come in and do her thing. Thankfully, we've got a pretty decent team we can work around with. So, strongest opponent, Axe Raider. Surprisingly, they're not that powerful. We also have Polymerization on our side and the power of Time Wizard. So we can at least stop Axe Raider. It is pretty cool that Time Wizard does get a unique attack animation. So after this, we can probably have Celtic Guardian land the kill. Maybe not. That was fairly pathetic. This will be interesting. I mean, even if they're not that strong, never underestimate the enemy. It's a surefire way to get yourself killed. Because you never know when you're going to wind up running into a trap or something like that. That is one of the most important things in Yu-Gi-Oh! Being patient. And having the right tools for the job. Because it's why basically any back row removal was so important. We will stun you. Because being able to knock out those all-important spells and traps was really, really handy. It's why cards like Imperial Order and Jinzo was so handy way back when. Shutting down your opponent's traps was incredibly beneficial. Shutting down spell cards was even more powerful. It was just such an advantage. It's time to fuse. Wish they had more AP, but there you go. Alright, we'll slowly chip away. We might be able to finish him off. We'll see. But either way, we've softened them up. Yeah, it's interesting to know that just anything at the right time will utterly disrupt your opponent's strategy. You've got to be incredibly careful about when you play things, pay attention to the timing and all sorts of stuff like that. It can be incredibly confusing planning all that out. Oh, right, we don't have the barricades up. Ah, rough. Didn't quite get the win. Now the big question is, does this come back with full... Do the two fusion materials come back with full health? That's another thing I wanted to work out. Okay, so that's dead. Unless we get a critical, I don't think we're killing Zanki. But at least we've got Thousand Dragon at a higher level. That's something. Whoop. Yeah, there's so much weird stuff, like even the difference between if and when in Yu-Gi-Oh! Can be the difference between an effect working and an effect missing the timing. It's really, really strange in all fairness. It's just a little bit bizarre. But it does help with some cards, like ones I favour, such as Hushed Psychic Cleric and Silent Psychic Wizard. They work when they're sent from the field to the graveyard. So they get all their effects anyway, which is really handy because, like, you summon Silent Psychic Wizard, banish a monster, then if you've got, like, Brain Control in the field, not Brain Control, Brain Research Lab. No, they don't get... I have questions. I'm fairly certain that the AI's monsters came back with full health. Maybe that's because I didn't attack Chimera, but... No, I definitely have questions about this. I definitely have questions. I'm going to have to take a look at that the next time the AI fuses. But we got good results anyway, but yeah. Yeah, things like Silent Psychic Wizard, being able to get your monster back no matter what is really beneficial. Because you can pull off so many great combos with that. We'll get our trade union. Oh, I think I got... I'll grab some of those. And a couple more of these. Joey, it's time to go down. That's not really the best one-liner. It is time for you to get whipped. Now, seriously, I think the fact the Harpies can use Electro Whip is all because they had Rose Whip, which increased their attack and defense by 300 points in the anime. Or in the manga, anyway. And the card Elegant Egotist was known as Kaleidoscope. That enabled Mai's Harpy Lady to split into 3, and that was sort of how they formed Harpy Lady Sisters. And there was Harpy's Pet Dragon as well, which was KO'd by Blackluster Soldier. Just look at you, Joey. I'll wake you up. My, is that you? So, we have an interesting battle. Somebody who has never won a duel on screen versus the guy who stumbles through all his duels by blind luck. Jeez, not even Panther Warrior, which is admittedly really good, can challenge the speed of the Harpies. Joey has replaced the Red Eyes Black Dragon with Tiger Axe, which is fair enough because he actually did have that in his deck. Alright, let's lock down Tiger Axe. And just keep pouring the heat on. It's kind of weird that Harpy's Pet Dragon, which should be getting stronger, is practically an afterthought in this fight. It's just there as supporting fire. It's like just backup artillery. So, Ryukishin Power does actually get to attack. But it won't be long before he's in a lot of trouble. I mean, he's already in a lot of trouble. We'll just keep taking Panther Warrior out of the fight because I don't fear Ryukishin Powder at all. Like, Tiger Axe is okay. Panther Warrior is ridiculously good. Ryukishin Powered, most of them, they're okay bosses for the time. But Panther Warrior's high AP and high attack makes it super dangerous, so it's really good we get it. Can we finish it off? Hey, there we go. And Ryukishin Powered is attacking Harpy's Pet Dragon out of spite. Now, it really makes me wonder, that some of those dragons with the really long necks and things, when they get hit, what must the whiplash be like? That'd be really, really painful. Like, they'd have to have very strong vertebrae. Let's continue to pick on Tiger Axe for a little while. Like, only Ryukishin Powered has attacked. Tiger Axe will probably get to attack, but it's going to be even worse when we get Kareno and I can use Triangle Ecstasy Spark. Oof, that's going to be mean. That's going to be very mean. But yeah, it is interesting seeing sort of how some of the different strategies evolved and the way some of the really janky cards back in the old days worked. Because there were quite a few female-based support cards in my deck. Shadow of Eyes, which I think flips up a monster that's said, it actually forced male monsters to attack. And that helped my strategies because her opponents would run straight into Mirror Wall. However, speaking of attacks going wrong, Mystical Elf wasn't actually affected by Shadow of Eyes, which is why Yugi uses it in that battle. It's just so weird. Like, there were lots of interesting ideas like that. In some games, Malevolent Nuzzler actually powers up female monsters by usually 500 attack. I think it's the case in the Sacred Cards, which I really should bring to the channel. And there, 2 attacks from Ryu Kishin powered, and that was it. Another AP for Harpy's Pet Dragon. Taya's team got some, and there we go. Joey is back. Yeah! Joey! Wait, take that and... Joey! Huh? What's going on? Oh, man. Did I overdo it on Tristan's homebrew again? Enough about my homebrew, everybody! Good, he's free of Scott's mind control. So, what's happening? Did I miss anything? Nobody wrote anything rude on my forehead or anything like that? No, you didn't miss a thing. Not at all. It's a good thing for you, I was here to help. What's that supposed to mean? When did I ever need your help? Oh, right. I must be thinking of somebody else. I'm just glad you're safe now. Remember, he's in high school. Why is everyone acting so weird? Jeez, I must have drank more of that stuff than I thought. And we get Panther Warrior. So that wraps up a pretty satisfactory chapter. That one's fairly easy. And now we do have to chase down Bakura, who has probably been ragged on way too much and is about to exact his revenge. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2, returning to base.